100%.
How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Normally, we like to do our week rundowns the day after the game, but I wasn't going to turn down an opportunity to hang out with these dudes and get everybody here on the same time. We got our man Brett, we got our guy Quinton, and we've got co-host Mr. Mike Zappy. Idris might be joining us. I know how that man drives, so yes, there's a chance we might see Idris after all. What a week! What a football day! We have so much to speak on. We got some punch tickets to the postseason. We've got second, third, and fourth lives for teams that people counted out that are still in. And we're also going to give a quick update on what's happening right now. So before we go any further, we got the classic rival Ravens and Steelers update. Zap, what is our current score over there?
Oh, I fell asleep watching it. Sorry. It's 10-3. Baltimore just took the lead in the second quarter. And a goal line pass to Isaiah Likely. And, yeah.
Pittsburgh. You're at the half now.
Man, I set him up, threw the pass to him. That he pulled a Ronnie Turi off on me. He's like, nah, man, I don't want that ball. Pass it back to Kobe.
Yeah. He pulled a LeBron.
Yo, hey, you said you didn't want to talk about it.
I didn't want to, but I couldn't help myself.
All right. Now that's one for you. The next one, we're gonna have to put you in timeout.
Yeah.
We call that the Wags rule. Squish the fish. The Patriots stay alive. Need to beat the Buffalo Bills next week. If they lose to Buffalo, they don't want to be in that situation. They're gonna need some help. I'll start with our resident Patriot fan, Brett. What do you think about the win? It was tight. Miami came to play despite having quarterback issues. What are your thoughts on the all-important victory today in Gillette?
I mean, a W is a W. I'll take it, but it should not have come down to an onside kick. And I mean, I watched most of it. Patricia had a game plan of going in on passing first instead of running first and setting up the play action, which I kind of agree with. He wanted to switch things up a little bit, and sometimes that's what you got to do. But it wasn't working. The first drive it worked, but the rest of the first half it was they couldn't finish, and they were very consistent on being inconsistent.
Yeah.
The first 2.5 quarters. Running game came through. Stevenson had a solid game. Harris came up with a good play. They gotta put Bourne in the mix a little bit more. But we had another pick six. I think it's for the third game in a row. We had another pick six. It came up huge. I mean that's what we got to do. Our defense has got to come through, and we got to run the ball and move the chains. But hey, like I said, at the end of the day, a dub is a dub. It should not have came down to that. I think we should have kicked 3. The last, I think it was 6.5, 7 minutes left to go. They went for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2 almost. Tim convert. They sacked Jones. Stupid call. We should have kicked 3 and kicked the ball off. It should not have came down to a field of possession game and Miami scoring, and then them trying to do an onside kick. I don't know what Belichick's doing. I don't even think he knows what he's doing. But next week, I mean, I'm not going to say the ball's in our court, but
you control your own destiny. That's all you can ask for.
It's a 50-50 shot. We have to come out and come up with a dub.
Short and sweet on my end. I like what I thought Mac Jones showed a lot more resolve. Offensively, the Patriots are going to be challenged. I think Damian Harris coming back is important because when you're facing defenses in the fourth quarter, you want to give them 2 different backs, 2 different looks. Mac Jones doesn't have all the toys he needs. That's not a great receiving corps. I do like what the defense did. And at the end of the day, you beat a division foe, and any time of the year, that's always something to be happy about. The Raider game, obviously, if I was a Pats fan, it would still burn me a little. But you guys have a chance to control your own destiny. And at this juncture of the year, being at the first day of the new year, that's all you can ask for. Zappy and Quinton, anything you guys want to contribute on this game before we move it along?
I was a huge fan of Miami before the season started, and to watch the handling of Tua's concussions, all three of them, I'm enjoying watching this Miami collapse.
Me too.
In my opinion, I think that Mike McDaniel, I have grown to dislike him over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And just we talked about this already, and just like to watch this happening. I didn't watch the game, obviously, so I just saw the bits of highlights here and there. All I know is I can't remember the last time I was actually cheering for a Patriots team to win a game. And
I feel that because I did root for them today too. I have that much disgust for what the Miami Dolphins have done to that kid. Tua, like him or not as a quarterback, he's a quality young man, and you don't want to see that happen to anyone that plays this game at a high level, bottom line.
Yeah,
not at all.
The thing is with Miami, I watched a little bit of that game along with ours. I kind of was flipping back and forth, watching us blow out a team we should be. But with Miami, they are in trouble.
Oh yes, they're on the banana peel, and future-wise, yes sir, future-wise, they got an issue.
Yes, they have issue. Because with Tagovailoa out and Bridgewater now out. He
got hurt too. That kid can't catch a break either.
Right, can't catch a break. Right. So with that being said, they're in trouble.
I bet Tyreek Hill is really loving his choice.
I
knew that was coming.
That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
Yeah. Oh God. Talk about that. I like that segue, Zappy. I don't know if you were aware, but we're talking the Chiefs. I had them right next, so that's a nice little segue. Chiefs beat the Broncos, a team they should beat. A little more difficult than anyone expected.
Yeah.
In order for the Chiefs to get home field advantage, they need Buffalo to catch an L down the stretch, which is a possibility tomorrow in Cincinnati. That's all I got. Chiefs were not their best, but when you're playing a team like the Broncos, you don't necessarily have to be your best. I will give the Broncos credit for keeping it competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just watching this Chiefs team struggle against a bad team. Every team is going to go through that situation. We see what's happening with the Eagles right now. We see it every year with every top team. So, I'm only saying that because of the way Dallas looked recently, and it's a very similar type of game.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs came out of there victorious. It wasn't pretty, but sometimes you got to have a little adversity and see if you can overcome it, and they did.
It's got to be a little concerning for Chiefs fans.
It don't matter. Dub's a dub at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That chalks up another W on the win column. Does it really matter?
Yeah.
How they won or how they
won?
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter.
You want to go in. You want to go into the postseason with as much momentum as humanly possible, because second season. Once you're in the second season, anything can happen. It often does. Going back to the Eagle game. I was not expecting them to get blown out by
this man called it. I gotta say that Zappy called it. Gotta give him that one.
Yeah, by the Saints. I was not expecting that. I for sure had them, walking in there and beat New Orleans. You know what I mean?
Now look at their situation that they're, and we're gonna hit on that towards the end as we tackle the NFC East. But bro, they have definitely put themselves in a stressful situation, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And these are other teams.
I want to feel like I was going to say, if there's a team that comes to mind right away as to which team I would want to be right now going into the postseason, it would be the Packers. Out of all the teams right now,
they have the clearest path to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and they're gelling. That defense is playing.
Gelling, right?
Yeah,
all they got to do is win. All they got to do is win next year, and they're in.
Guys. Oh my God, clear as path.
Yeah, winning
Yeah.
in.
Even
Winning
if
in.
they get into the playoffs, they still have to win on the road 3 games in a row.
That's the only time in the Aaron Rodgers
not easy.
era that they won a Super Bowl. That's exactly how they did it.
Brett, I told Richie my playoff predictions for the NFC.
I know. I heard
if it happens, but this
that
is the
was
Packer
my preseason bowl prediction. People were laughing at me when I said Packers Bills. People were laughing at me.
And I said the Packers are going to struggle early and get hot late, make it to the playoffs. They will not win the division, and they'll go to the Super Bowl. And I think they are a team that is in clear position because they can beat a Brock Purdy. They could definitely beat a Jalen Hurts. They could sure as hell beat a Dak. You know, they could definitely beat a Kirk. So this is a.
Notice how they can't beat a DJ though.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, they can. Listen, guys, come on, man. Like, get off the Packer horse, Zap. Stop it. Like, number one, I can't believe you're going for the Pack. Like, they're not.
I'm not going for the Packer.
3 games on the road, bro. They're not going to do it.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
We'll see.
They're not going to do it.
Let me ask you this. Upon watching that game today, right? Upon watching that 4:00 game, Minnesota to me is a paper tiger. Like,
thank you, my guy. Because that's the word I've been using all season with these clowns.
And
I believe in Kirk.
Kirk Cousins, please.
You don't believe that shit, bro.
We should have beaten him last weekend.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Should have.
But more importantly, we'll get that opportunity in a couple of weeks, more than likely.
Yeah.
A game I see you guys winning.
I feel that very confident about that game. Very, very confident about the rematch. Short and sweet, since we already kind of touched on the Packers here, I'm going to talk about the teams that are right next to them that need scenarios to go down. Lions obviously got to beat them, and the Lions need the Rams to win that game against Seattle. Conversely, Seattle needs the Packers to lose and win their game, which is actually more feasible. But after what the Lions really lost their opportunity when they blew that game to the Carolina Panthers, I do not see them going into Lambeau and pushing the Packers around right now. I think that the scariest team is the hottest team. And right now, the Green Bay Packers are pretty damn hot. And I think the pressure is off them because of the fact that they don't have that big expectation of home advantage over them. And speaking as a Giant fan, I think Quinton may agree, sometimes it's better to be under the radar and kind of not be anyone's darling and just go in there and punch people in the face.
I totally agree with that.
That's Aaron Rodgers' best. I mean, that's been his best his whole career.
I must admit that, and Brett would agree with this, even though he doesn't want to. He himself has said that for a team that plays in the elements, Green Bay does tend to be a little too finesse-ish. Like the 49ers would be great in Lambeau, whereas the Packers would be better in Candlestick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So on the road, yes, I do find them a little more dangerous. We kind of jumped the gun on the Packers, but that's okay. Jaguars jumped the Titans. AFC South, but it doesn't matter until next week. Who wins this game next week? I'm not going to talk about beating the Texans. Nobody gives a damn about that. Will the Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans again and win that division?
I think so. Momentum, because final game of the season always going to be a division game, and usually division games come down. Your division comes down to this.
Yes, sir.
Final game.
Yes, sir.
And with this momentum swing that Jacksonville has, Tennessee is in trouble quarterback wise, because Tannehill, I don't know what happened to Tannehill. I think he got hurt. He's done.
Out. He's on IR.
Yeah, he's on IR. He's done. That kid they drafted, Malik Willis, he's not ready yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is very true.
Yeah, he's not ready, and I knew he wasn't going to be ready when they drafted him, because
it's a big jump coming out of Liberty. I think the kid is super coachable, and I think in time he could be that dude, but it's going to take some time.
It's going to take time. He's not, and he went to school in Roswell. Roswell's not far from me. Went to high school in Roswell. He set all kinds of records and all, and I kept hearing about him, and everybody was saying, "Oh, the Giants should draft him." I'm like, "No, I don't want him.
Oh, yeah, I remember
I don't
this one.
want him."
Well, I
I don't
mean,
want him.
yeah. I can't wait till we get to that part.
People continue to fall in love with the small school story.
It is a cool story. It is a
cool story, but we've seen time and time again that it usually doesn't work. It does work on many occasions, but I'll use Jalen Tolbert, for example. I mean, Dallas, I was in love with him when he was playing at South Alabama. Yeah, he had the numbers to back it, but then here he comes into the NFL, and he is nowhere near ready. Everyone was saying, "Oh, they got a receiver that's going to be ready."
You're 100% right, brother. You're 100% right.
But that mine is 4 words: Malik Willis and Joshua Dobbs. Are you really going to go into Week 18 with those 2 quarterbacks?
That's why I said it was painful to watch. It wasn't that I had a dog in the fight. I didn't give a crap if you guys won. Brett and I did a show that night, and we were actually laughing at the game. Like, that's how bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, I was too when I was watching it. When I watched it, I was like, "Oh my God!" But I mean, not to get into that, but you just can't get up for a game like that.
No, dude. I almost fell asleep before the show.
And right now, the way Jacksonville is playing, I don't think they're just gonna win the game. I think they're going to win the game.
I think
they're gonna send a message.
They're gonna spank them. And Quinton, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I started drinking before Jerry Jones that night. Like I drank the bowl of bourbon. Like it was bad. It was bad. But
Quinton and I'm going to tell you about this. Go ahead, Brett.
Boys,
we're going to jump this with you.
Who would have thought at the beginning of the year that the AFC South would come down to Week 18, the NFC South would come down to Week 17?
Yeah.
The NFC East is still up for grabs. Get out of here, Zappy. No. There's so much at stake the last 2 weeks of this season. I love it.
I've seen Zappy go through every emotional play this year. After week one, when Dak got hurt, the season's over.
There's so many avenues.
But the South
right now.
But the NFC South has already been settled as far as
today,
the winner.
Today,
now, what I'm looking forward to,
it's a formality. The Titans are dead.
What I'm looking for in the NFC South, because we will more than likely finish in 3rd place, and that is one of our opponents in 2023. It's either going to be Carolina or Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm praying that it's Atlanta that slips into 3rd.
Local game for you.
Yep, that means the Giants come to Atlanta. I'm in the building front and center.
Return of the mask.
The mask.
The mask is coming back anyway in 2023.
When I was
you got to go to the underground mall that they have down there.
I've been everywhere in Atlanta. I live here.
Dude, that mall I love that mall.
I spoke about you today, Quinton. My son watched your video that you posted.
Oh,
and
really?
he has like, "Oh, do you know him?" And I gave him a kind of a little backstory just based on what Richie has told me, how you guys met, and hearing y'all's conversations, So I like watching these mask videos.
Resolution for the show on the new year. I want to get your little man on the show. That's going to definitely happen. Last thing I want to say about these Jaguars before we move it over to the fantasy football world is Quinton was on a show with Elliot and I when we were working with the Jordan Patrick show. And we spoke about how Urban Meyer truly disgraced not only the elite level of this sport, but how it was a wasted season for Trevor Lawrence and company. 1 year removed, you got to give Doug Peterson some credit here. Really getting the best out of Trevor Lawrence. And then next year, they're going to be even better and probably the favorites to win this division. Things are looking up in Duval, and I must say that road victory against these Jaguars, when Idris and I went with Gary, I gotta say it looks a little more impressive in our resume for the playoffs coming up.
Give them Calvin Ridley.
Like the growth that Trevor Lawrence has had the past 5-6 weeks, making this run. Oh my God! Like I've been waiting for this man to arrive in the NFL.
This is going to be a fun team to watch.
He has arrived, and I can't wait to see the end of this.
Speaking of arriving, I want to let the viewers know that I spoke to a friend of the show, Richard Dorney, a little while ago. His daughter says, his 2-year-old says the ABCs in Spanish as well as in English. And I also wanted to make a mention that
so she's more literate. She's more literate than her father. That's great.
Well, anyway, I wanted to make a point here that Gretzky did fall to last because of the way the playoff consolation brackets worked. And, we're leading into fantasy here, so this is pertinent. And also, speaking of Trevor Lawrence, Brett did not freeze him, but he did want to take Tom Brady. On to fantasy, King Richard in position to win the Cheddar in the Sun Bowl. This could be quite the upset. Zappy, what are your thoughts?
I called it at the beginning of the week. I have the text messages to say you're going to be the champ. I hate
when he does that. Because I'm like, man, don't jinx it, bro.
I was like, dude, I lost. And then when I saw the news that Debo was out, I was like, oh, I definitely lost.
I want to give credit where it's due, man. I might end up being the champion, but I'm going to give credit to you, Zap. This guy had such a phenomenal season, only had one loss, and it was the final week of our fantasy year. He almost won undefeated. Unfortunately for Zappy, Odell Beckham never panned out. That was one of his final maneuvers. We only get 25 moves a year. And with Deebo Samuel not being activated, he didn't know that going into Thursday night. So Zappy took a chance that unfortunately didn't work out for him. But it's the same thing I'll tell Brett when we're not joking and breaking balls. Beating the 07 Patriots is like the pinnacle of winning a Super Bowl because you beat the best there was. And I must say, I've been in this fantasy.
Hey, so you're calling me the best? I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
In terms of a singular,
that sounds like the Bret Hart thing.
In terms of a singular,
he always finds a way to frickin' Mahone me.
Well, I can't change our history, and I wasn't even trying to do that. I was actually trying to give you guys a compliment. What I'm saying is, Zappy, in the history of our fantasy league, and we've been in it long enough to know this, nobody has had a better season, in my opinion, than Zappy did this year. This man not only swept me during the regular season, but he also beat me by over 100 points. So I want to give credit. I want to give credit to where it's due. All year, I was a distant second place. I had to do it the hard way, similar to what Zappy and I think the Packers might be able to do. I had to win 3, after getting knocked out of the potential bye round. So, all joking aside, this league's named after my late father. It's the first year that I would win it since 2010, so that's exciting. And it's really a great league, man. We really enjoy being in this league for as long as we have. And I'll even eat some humble pie and say I am the only dude in the history of that league to go winless. Cruise Control 2.0. That was a train wreck. Never open up the Tito's before 10 a.m. on draft day. Lesson learned, kiddos.
Hence the Tito's he has right next to him right now.
Yeah. Brady gets another shot at the playoffs. They won a game that I wasn't sure they were going to win. I knew it was going to be close. 30-24 come out on top against the Carolina Panthers. Brett, this is your boy, Tom Brady. I'm going to let you start with him.
Well, he finally found Mike Evans.
He certainly did.
Did he? Jeez.
Over 300 yards for Tom Brady himself. I didn't see really any run game put in place. They played behind pretty much almost all game going into the fourth. But they finally connected. And at this time of year, what better way to find Mike Evans? What better way to find Godwin? I mean, Godwin had a fumble early, but he got out of it. He got out of his funk. Fournette had a couple catches out of the backfield, and Otto was in the mix every now and then.
I must say, man, they found their group today.
He finally found Evans, and Evans was actually catching the ball and getting a step on these guys. But you couldn't ask for a better time for this to happen to them, to be honest with you. But like I said, they were down 14. They were down 14-0. Down 14-0 came back against Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers. DJ Moore had a hell of a game. It's it really came down to there was a few turnovers here and there. But I mean, Tampa. I mean, they had to seal at the end with another almost a miracle play. Was it that same game, right? Yeah, because Carolina tried to lateral it like 4 times, so it had to come down to that. But I mean, I give Tampa credit. Tom Brady came through, finally found Evans. So we'll see what happens going into a playoff run for them.
They're going to play whoever finishes second in the East. That will either be Philadelphia or Dallas. Quinton, what are your thoughts on the greatest winning quarterback in NFL history getting another crack in a somewhat mediocre year, but it looks like they're starting to find their groove?
Well, they're starting to find their groove, and I think that I don't see them going that far. In all honesty, I do not see Tampa going all that far. You can't play from behind constantly and constantly think that you're going to catch up. That's the problem with Tampa. Just poor coaching. Because Todd Bowles, that guy is terrible. That guy is terrible as a coach.
He should be a DC.
Great DC.
Yeah, great.
I give you that. I would have went with Leftwich. I said this off air, on air many times. Leftwich was the right choice. But yes, I agree with you. I do agree with you there. Zappy, your thoughts on Tampa and what they could do potentially getting a home game?
Well, they're getting a home game. They clinched the division, so they have one
potentially what they could do at home. I should have worded it.
So Brett said it perfectly. So did Quinton. The one thing that's going to hurt this team in the long run is the fact that they don't have a run game.
Yeah,
but they are getting Ryan Jensen back. He is on the designated to return list. He's not going to play this week, but I could almost bet he plays for that wild card game. That's a big piece for that offensive line where their running game might actually wake up a little bit. But if they're going to be playing football, playing behind against a Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers, shoot, I think I'll even say Brock Purdy because he's got the defense to back it. He's not going to come back. Brett said it, Sam Darnold. That's who he played today. And although he'd been playing great, it's still Sam Darnold.
I must admit that they're not impressing me, but winning is not an easy task. So I'm never going to win.
But and the other thing is, the other couple wins they've had recently have not been impressive at all. This one was a little more impressive because we saw Evans go off. It was something that offense missing.
Football lately, they're definitely buying their coach.
Yeah, they are, but because of Steve Wilkes and what happened today that they lost, he probably won't be retained as their full-time head coach. That's a sad thing.
I think that's unfortunate, and that opens up a whole nother can of worms that has been the elephant in the room for quite some time.
Right.
On the way organizations hire coaches. You take a guy like a Steve Wilkes, he's a victim to that, and I hope he does retain the job because I think he's more than earned the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
He's turned Carolina around. I just didn't like the way they did him when he was in Arizona.
Nor did I. And they gave Kingsbury a king's ransom.
And Kingsbury is terrible. Cliff Kingsbury, I highly doubt that he'll be back in Arizona after the season.
They'd have to get their head examined if they bring that man back again.
Yeah, he's got to go.
If Evans would have won 3 weeks ago, I would have had a better shot at playoffs.
Say that again, buddy?
I said if Evans would have went off 3 weeks ago, I would have had a better shot at playoffs.
Yeah, possibly.
Both quarterback and receiver.
Both. Or if you would have froze Trevor Lawrence, or if you didn't draft Tom Brady.
Right.
There were other variables. Or if you would have won an all-important swing game against King Richard. There were a lot of variables that led to your demise this year. But
I'll fucking slap him.
The 49ers jumped the Vikings for the 2 seed. As a Giants fan, I think I share the same sentiment with Quinton. I want another piece of Minnesota. As far as the 49ers go, they're really good. I got to say that this is a team that coming in with all the quarterback issues, Trey Lance got the opportunity, then got hurt. My best wishes to his return. You never want to see young guys get hurt like that. Jimmy Garoppolo, who helped take this team to the Super Bowl a couple of years back. He might be back, but right now it doesn't look like they would reinsert him with the winning that Brock Purdy's doing. So you're talking about a team that has been through to their third quarterback now. They made a midseason trade to bring over the ultimate talent, Christian McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel's been dealing with injuries. Bosa was dealing with it. They got injuries everywhere, but this team really plays to the level of their coach's attitude, and that's why they are always in the mix. Great organization, not just right now, but historically. Watch out for the 49ers. What are your thoughts, gentlemen, on this flop of seedings? Do you think the Vikings are on the way out in terms of a quick out? And what do you think about the 49ers' chances of winning a bowl?
Vikings are overrated. Overrated.
Yeah.
I've been saying for weeks that the Vikings are overrated, and last week proved it. We should have beaten them.
Yeah.
That was a very winnable. Had we beaten Minnesota last week, none of it. We would have already have sealed the playoff spot.
Yeah.
16.
But I must admit, it was sweet to do it in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. But I'd rather have it done on their turf. That way, they say, well, you don't have anything to play for. No, you have everything to play for because you can move up in seeding.
Yeah, I get that too.
You know what I'm saying?
The Dallas sweep would have made it difficult to get to 5, but you made a nice point about that. You want to with the Chiefs, that you want to play your best football going in.
Yep.
And I do think in the Giants' case, that was a quality loss because of the fact that it gained positive momentum. And they said, oh, shit, we could pretty much play with anybody. Now you get X-Man back. Now you get Landon Collins back. 49ers, guys, what do we think about their outlook?
I love their chances of making the big dance. I said this weeks ago. Zappy said this weeks ago. They have the team to make that playoff run and make the big dance and possibly win it. I mean, it's cliche, boys, at the end of the day, but we always talk about running the ball and playing defense. Defense wins championships.
Never goes out of style.
But we talk about that all the time. And 49ers have the formula to win the big game.
No doubt. No doubt.
They have it. All it comes down to is Brock Purdy making those throws that he has to make.
And I must admit,
being a game manager.
That would be a hell of a matchup week 1, Green Bay going into Frisco. That'd be a hell of a matchup.
I don't know what this kid is made of until I see him in those clutch moments when it matters and you're in a one-game elimination.
Yeah, that's where legends are born, and that's where reputations are made.
I want to see what this kid is made of. I want to see what he can do. And until I see it, then I'll make a judgment call. But for now, I'm still picking the Niners to make the big dance coming out of the NFC.
All right.
I still want to see what Brock can do. I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what this kid can do, man. He's got all the momentum going for him. He has all the support. He has the whole support system behind him with the run game and the defense and the coaching staff.
I find his situation eerily similar to 2001 Tom Brady. Even when you look at who his first start was against, in Brady's case, Peyton Manning, in Brock Purdy's case, Tom Brady. It's not the same thing by any means, but it is interesting.
But it's very similar. Very similar. I agree with you.
I like Brock. I think he's a great quarterback. He's got a lot, but this actually reminds me more of Big Ben and Dak, showing out. But then when you actually play a quarterback in the postseason, that might be the difference. He played against Jarrett Stidham today.
Right.
And the kid?
Yeah.
And
hold
the kid?
Hold on, Zap. Can I back you up on this? I'm not going to say back you up, but he's not playing against the other quarterback. He's playing against the defense. Brady will say the same thing all the time. You're not playing against the other quarterback. You're playing against the team's defense.
You could put that butter on the roll and throw it out the window. You aren't playing against the other quarterback because you're trying to match.
Playing against the freaking defense now.
You're watching what that other quarterback's doing, and you're getting ready to match it and do better.
If you think for 1 second,
who that sounds like? a salty Patriots fan that never wants to admit that Tom Brady lost to Eli Manning twice. That's what that sounds like.
That's like saying if you had Aaron Rodgers, that the result of that game would have been the exact same. No, it would not have, because he's probably going to be facing Aaron Rodgers in the first round.
Is he facing Aaron Rodgers, or is he facing the Green Bay defense?
He's facing Aaron Rodgers too, right?
Between Green Bay and the Niners defense, I kind of prefer the Packers defense right now. They're playing some really good football. The Niners have a great defense, but again, it's all about momentum and how you're looking going into the playoffs. Today, that was a little scary. They won the game.
He's got quite the chip on his shoulder when it comes to playing against that particular organization, and he's well overdue to beat them when it counts. Quinton, what do you think, man? Niners, Packers, that could be the class of the first round. I mean, we're getting ahead a little, but damn, that's going to be a good game if it happens.
Yeah. From what I saw from Aaron Rodgers today, Aaron Rodgers is definitely the Aaron Rodgers of old.
He's looking locked in.
Yeah, he's looking like he's locked in. You're right. And,
he's locked in.
It is against Minnesota, like I said, the paper tiger of the NFC. Because I was like, Kirk Cousins is not going to carry you anywhere. Okay.
No, not even in fantasy.
Right. He's not going to take you anywhere. He's very streaky, very inconsistent. You don't know which Kirk Cousins you're going to get. You don't know which offense is going to be run, because they locked down Jefferson so bad today that Zaire Alexander's over there doing the gritty on top of him, on top of Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, did he just do the gritty on that the Alexander just do the gritty on Jefferson? I was like,
He most certainly did. And
49ers D boys, they're gonna win that championship.
We're gonna find out. It's gonna be a hell of a situation going into the NFC. I do want to make one mention last about the Vegas Raiders. Might be the last time I speak about them on this show. Derek Carr has been the subject of a lot of jokes because we love to mess around and enjoy ourselves here. But one thing I want to say is, yes, I do think Jarrett Stidham played well, and yes, potentially, Carr wasn't playing great lately. But benching the man because of the fact that you could save money, playing the risk game if he got hurt, I think it's classless on the Raiders' part, and they have had a bad habit of doing this, even going back to last year, getting rid of Rich Bisaccia after navigating around that shit show that they had between the racist emails from John Gruden to the vehicular homicide with Ruggs. I've spoken on this many times. Point to be made is he might not be the quarterback that he once was, but Derek Carr deserved a lot better from this organization that he has given a decade to. So Oakland Raiders, epic fail on that. Derek Carr deserved a little better than that, guys.
Just wait till you hear mine on another coach here in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. The riverboat sinking. Ron Rivera gets burned, trusting Carson Wentz in a must-win game against the Browns.
Carrot top.
Yeah, my man. Zappy's lace into this BS, bro.
What did I say all week? What did I say? I said the Washington Commanders will lose this game because of the way Ron Rivera did Taylor Heineke there at the end of the 49er game. And then to make the switch back to the quarterback that at no point in the season when you were 1-4 did he give you any type of hope that, okay, maybe we have something with a Carson Wentz. Insert a Taylor Heineke, and this team responds to him over week in and week out, gets him in playoff position, and then you bench him. You go back to the problem. Like, come on, man!
The great 49er defense. The 49ers do that to a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that wasn't cool. That was the whole point of it. But and then Carson Wentz comes down. What does he do early on? All he's doing is throwing interceptions. And it was like, and I'm sitting there like, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
That bad movie. He had the patience to watch that bad movie. I mean, bro, even the guy that we played today, how the hell did Philly choose Wentz over him? That man won you a Super Bowl for the first time the first time ever.
The first time ever, yeah.
To put it in perspective, they beat Vince Lombardi last time they won Big Dick Nick comes in, wins the game, and then you're like, it's okay. We'll go with Prince Harry again.
Well, we'll go with Prince Harry because we drafted him number 2. Ron Rivera, I don't know what the hell you were thinking today.
Bullshit.
I don't know what Ron Rivera was thinking.
I like Ron Rivera a lot, but I
do too. But I said it. I preached about it that I believe the team is not going to answer, and it's going to make him look bad because when you bench your quarterback that got you in this position,
correct.
When you know that you lose the team in a way, and today the team I couldn't tell if any of the team really showed up. Honestly,
gravitated to Heineke.
Yeah.
They lost a hard-fought game against our New York Giants. That was a damn good battle that could have went either way. Right. A couple of plays here and there.
Both games.
Yes, indeed. And the Commanders have a good team. So even though we're not going to see me bleed for a division rival, it's like, wow.
Here's the thing. Okay, their Achilles heel, the Commanders' Achilles heel is their defense. Okay, Jack Del Rio. I don't think he makes it. I don't think he survives.
They might sweep out the whole crew because after Zappy's point, I think Rivera might be in more trouble. Then you got all the issues up top with Snyder and co. Mm-hmm. They might change their name again too.
I wouldn't be shocked if they do.
I think they should go back to the Redskins because I like.
Yeah,
they never will.
No,
they never will.
No,
we can put that to bed. As much as I would love to see him a Redskin again, because that is the team I grew up knowing.
Exactly.
I don't see the racial part of it because I feel like they were actually honoring them, especially when they were winning the Super Bowl. But I 100% agree. I wish they would go back to the Redskins and bring. I miss that old Washington team that I remember as a kid.
And believe me, I don't dilute. Sorry to interrupt you, Quinton. I don't dilute sensitivity towards any race. I don't dilute that because there is validity to quite a bit of it. But sometimes I think cancel culture goes a little too far with team names and this and that. Because when you talk about what hurts and what doesn't, man, I could go on for 6 years and we'll never even finish the show. It's an organization. I get it. But, I've heard a mixed review from Native Americans. Some feeling that what you just said, that they were being honored, others being offended. So I guess it really just matters on the temperature of who we're talking about, really.
Someone's always going to be offended.
What I was waiting on was, I made a post about a week ago about the NFC East hardening, meaning all 4 teams are going to be solid. And it's going to go back to to the 80s and early 90s where we were all beating each other up. And the St. Louis Cardinals, who are now the Arizona Cardinals, who used to be the Chicago Cardinals.
Yeah. Oldest team in the NFL, little known fact.
Right, oldest team in the NFL, little known fact, exactly. When it was 5 teams in the NFC East. Where there would be a season where we just beat each other up, and then Arizona, Cardinals, we just wipe our feet and our blood on them. You know what I mean? And that's what I was waiting on, was the hardening of the NFC East, where each team
they're back as a division.
Yeah, they're back exactly. That's exactly how I want it, for us to be back as a division, because the Cowboys are solid, Giants are getting solid, the Eagles are solid, the Commanders, Skins football team, whatever you call them now, they're still mucking around trying to find themselves. You know what I mean? So 3 out of the 4 are going to be problems in the future.
Yeah, you put it. I couldn't have put it any better. And without further ado, man, Big Blue gets it done. Clinches the 6th seed. Long overdue playoff absence since 2016. We all know about the infamous boat trip. Mm-hmm. I can go in so many directions and talk about what got us here. A big shout out to John Mara for letting football people do football things. He put the trust in Brian Dable, in Joe Shane, in Wink Martindale, in bringing their kind of philosophy to East Rutherford, New Jersey. For years, this team craved a modern coaching staff. You drafted Daniel Jones. You made the commitment to make him your guy by drafting him that early. And I think I think John Mara said it best when he said, we did everything to screw this kid up. This year was a feel-out year in a lot of ways, which makes it an overachievement. This team, while, yes, Idris and I did say 8 to 9 wins, a lot of people around the country didn't believe that this team could do that. You draft a stud in a Kayvon Thibodeau. You draft a stud in an Evan Neal, who by year 2 is going to be looking a lot more like Andrew Thomas.
Yep.
Isaiah Hodgins, what a beautiful pickup off of the Buffalo practice squad. Daniel Bellinger, great addition, a tight end that is getting better every week, overcame the eye injury. And what more can you say about the undisputed running back Saquon Barkley, reclaiming his career, and Daniel Jones putting up the Eli Doublebird to a lot of the haters. I'm very proud of this team right now. Very proud. And I know that this great feeling could end soon because, this is a young team, but there is so much to look forward to. You cut Kenny Golladay a $6.5 million check, tell him to get out of town. You got 50 or so million in cap space, and you have a decent amount of draft capital.
Realize you also have to look at you got to re-sign Dexter Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
You got to re-sign him. What do you do with Leonard Williams? Do you restructure him? Do you
restructure him? You got to restructure him.
You approach him with a restructure, but if he's not feeling it, then you got to consider moving on.
Right. And Richie James, of course, he's starting to come on. You gotta look at him. There he is.
My bad, y'all. I'm in my car, so y'all.
Yeah, you made it just in time.
Idris coming out like the League of Shadows over there. Look like
I know, man. Yeah, I got to watch
What is that? Man. What is that? The moonlight above your head? What is that?
You must.
Yeah, man. Nah.
Idris, get it, man. Get it. New York Football Giants, get it, man. You here?
Hey, yeah, I'm at the end. So, I kind of heard a lot what y'all said. I listened to it in the car. With the contracts, I think we got to restructure. Leonard Williams. I think at least franchise tag Daniel Jones. We got to give Saquon. We got to give him some money. Yeah. Because I think what we got going. For one thing, this quarterback class is all right, but it's not nothing I want to rebuild with because Daniel Jones has the system down. So why bring another quarterback in to do it all over again? And everyone is like. Yeah, everyone is on.
To your friends in the fan base, the dehydrated
Oh yeah.
crew,
Let me address the thirst crew. Definitely. I got the moon right here. It's actually my car light, my headlamp. You guys, the thirst crew, at the start of the season, you call many of us delusional, homers, all types of names. You had no faith in the team. You got mad when we were 3-1, saying we need to be losing games so we get a high draft pick. You had no confidence, and I'm going to name names right now. I'm going to name drop Marissa, Mimi, Mangia, whatever her name is.
Jay Goon. Mangina getting in the belly.
Whatever, yeah. Her. I hate to call you out, Jay Goon, but you were another one who went with her. Jason Larson, Lerner. You're another
Ray
one.
J or Jay Goon? Oh, never mind. That's different.
Jay Goon. Jay Goon's another one.
Oh yeah, that kid named
Lit.
Jason Lerner.
Lit.
That kid's about as lit as a 20-watt light bulb.
Exactly. If that, a lot of them basically wanted us to lose. They had zero faith in us. And y'all know from the start they call the organization racist because we drafted Daniel Jones. Right. Then they call us racist because we didn't hire the guy from Miami.
Brian Flores.
Flores rather than Dable and Shane. I think we did great with that combination because they know each other. They work perfectly with each other. And what they're building right now is incredible because what we've done this year with this roster shows you can build a roster without a lot of money. You just have to have the right people in charge to bring these to coach these guys up. Because look who we got. Like Q was just saying, we got a $70 million guy sitting on $70 million guy sitting on the bench. We got 3 6-round draft choices.
Yeah, Kenny Garbage Day. That's what I call him.
Garbage Day, yeah. We got 3 6th-round draft choices. 2 of them were practice squad. We got a 7th rounder. You know what I mean?
James.
Matt Breida came over. Yeah. But look what we're doing with 9, 6, and 1.
And Patchwork, Fabian Moreau really stepped up. Who saw that coming?
Yeah,
he did.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw a tape on Kenny Galladay in training camp where you do the little drill where you got the little the footwork drill. Yo, this dude's feet were so slow, his toes were retarded. Okay.
It's like he shuffles, man.
Yes.
And then alligator arms everything on the few opportunities he's been given.
With all that height he has, he should be laying out.
Here? Can I go?
What do you need?
Oh, yeah.
Idris, I love having you on the show. You're my boy.
I know you do.
I love the moonlight behind you.
Thank you.
This is not.
I wouldn't have set that romantic mood, you know.
This is not the Big Blue Network.
Actually, we're talking about the Giants. So
I know you're talking about the Giants. And we've been
look here.
We've been talking about.
Look here. Richie's mom's is listening. Richie's mom's is listening. So I'm trying to look. Brett. Richie's mom's is listening. So I'm trying to set the mood, right? I'm trying to set the mood.
Don't mute me.
It's close.
Shouts out, Eunice. I'm trying to set the mood.
I love Eunice too. We've been talking about the G-Men for 9 minutes. Can we please stop?
Hey, Eunice.
We've been talking about the G-Men for 9 minutes. Can we stop? Look,
okay.
I give you guys credit.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
You guys credit. You made the 6th seed. You're not beating San Fran in the playoffs.
Brett.
Brett.
Hold on. Let me say my one thing. Let me say my one thing.
Yeah.
First of all, they're not playing San Francisco. They're going to be playing the Vikings, so they are going to make it to the divisional round. Secondly, you have to give credit.
He interrupted us to tell us of that. That's what he interrupted.
No. I just said I gave you credit.
This is 6 years in the making, Brett.
Seriously.
6 minutes.
This is
6 minutes.
You give. If I'm the Giants, if I'm the Giants, you go into that draft and you get yourself a number 1 receiver because you can get that quarterback in the 2nd round. But if you can go land Quinton Johnson on that team to give him a weapon for Daniel Jones, that right there is the weapon you need. You can get a quarterback in the 2nd round. The Giants have put themselves in position where not only are they going to the playoffs with first-year head coach Brian Dable, they're going to resign Daniel Jones. They're going to resign Saquon Barkley. You don't have to go into the draft now thinking you have to get a quarterback. Now you're going into the draft because you just drafted the 2nd most important position in the NFL in a defensive end in this year's draft. You go get that receiver. Right. You already have your left tackle. You get that receiver. You give Daniel Jones that weapon. That team, it could be fun, man. I think the Giants are here. They get their cornerback. You have a foundation up front, and that's why you will restructure a Leonard Williams. I've told people time and time again, I will give you my unbiased opinion about every NFL team, no matter who it is. So I'm being honest about the Giants.
I think Leonard Williams wants to stay too.
I know.
I think Leonard Williams wants to stay.
He does too.
I think he'll stay.
I think he does too.
Before we get out of here, the Eagles find themselves in a must-win game. Idris, this game kind of applies to you and your family, for that matter. Are these guys in trouble?
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I'd have been like, nothing. But now, they're because we already know what Washington is. I mean, they could sneak up on Dallas, but unlikely. Unlikely. And the way the Giants are playing right now, look here. We might go in there and be like, look here, let's end this regular season on a high note. Let's go in here. We may lose. I mean, we don't have.
They're gonna be playing.
Yeah, we don't have nothing to lose.
Yeah, but we don't gotta win the game. Right. They do, and that's what
we don't have to win. Yeah,
situation.
Right. They're gonna be playing the starters anyway, and everybody was like telling me, well, we should rest the starters. I'm like, no, they're gonna be playing their starters because they have more to lose than we do. We've already clinched the 6th seed. They are fighting to stay on top. And if they lose and Dallas wins the division, and they get the number.
It depends on what happens with San Francisco next week. If San Francisco loses, then Dallas will get the 1. Yeah. But if San Francisco wins, then Dallas gets the 2.
Yeah, either way, they're in a much better position. And then that would set up Green Bay, Dallas.
That'd be hell of a
Oh man!
You sure you don't want to play Tampa, Zappy?
No. Believe it. That's funny you say that. So I was talking to my buddy Matt, the one that has commented before on the episodes, and I was like, I asked him the question. I said, would you rather see number 4 seed Tampa Bay, knowing that yes, they had a great game today, they're getting Ryan Jensen back, but they're more susceptible to beat, or would you rather be the number 2 seed playing this very hot Aaron Rodgers Packers team? And he said, well, the commonality should be that you want to have those home games. But but then I said, but here's my thing. I would much rather have the 5 seed, and because I have a very strong feeling that the Giants are going to beat the Vikings. We're going to beat Tampa Bay. Because of the reasons of Tampa Bay doesn't have the running game. And then that allows Dallas to host the divisional round. And I think the Eagles can go into Philadelphia and beat this team, because while Eagles fans will sit there and say, oh, well, we didn't have Jalen Hurts. Well, your defense has also been giving up these points. Your defense, while their pass rush has been phenomenal, I will tip my hat off to that.
You can run on Philadelphia. You can run on
them. And that's the thing in the playoffs.
Challenge, because those 2 corners they got, James Bradbury, Darius Slay, are legit. But if you can start making them respect your run game, which teams have done lately, then you soften up the back end of the defense.
And we also have to look at while they're deep on the defensive side, especially in the front 7, losing Josh Sweat is not a small thing. That is a big loss for that defense, because it does mess with your rotation. So, I mean, honestly, do I want Philly to win next week? No, because I want New York to go back there and avenge the 2020 season of, and the way the Eagles did the Giants bad like that, But
what did Herman Edwards say, Brett? What did Herman Edwards say?
Which part? Oh, we played to win the game?
You played to win the game.
And what Philly did was egregious in 2020, dude. Bottom line.
He was laid down.
Oh, yeah. No, I want to see us beat Philadelphia for the simple fact that I watched the preseason, a pregame of them, practicing. They were talking into the camera. They were saying we the best team in East Rutherford. We don't even know it. We don't even acknowledge those guys in blue. We're the best team in New Jersey. We're the best team in New York. And I was like, wow, you disrespecting us like that? So yeah, I would love.
It's the perfect formula for the Giants to get. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
I hate Philly. I hate Philly, and I dislike Dallas, but I hate Philly.
Yeah. There's not a comparison, dude. It's not a comparison.
No, it's not a comparison.
Philadelphia is our arch rival. Period.
The Big East.
1933.
That's right.
We've been fighting those guys since 1933.
That's a history lesson for those who don't know.
Yeah, that's like, why is everybody like on social media when Dallas loses that they go on? I get it. I have to have fun too, but sometimes I think that some of these 7-Eleven babies forget that that's really our legitimate rival. Like I'm sure Brett gets annoyed with his fan base too when you got these Patriot fans that arrive or whatever have you. They've been doing this since 1960.
You have to realize, Richie, a lot of our fans are dumb. They're stupid. Because number one, they don't realize that the commonality. Yeah, understatement. Yeah, absolutely. They don't understand the commonality of us and Dallas. The link between us and Dallas is Tom Landry. Okay,
Tom
Landry came from us, right? Tom Landry came from us. Vince Lombardi in came from when he went to Green Bay. Who did he come from? He came from us.
Sean Payton, Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick.
Exactly.
Romeo Crennel. The list goes on.
Anything
anyone? Yeah. Tom Coughlin started and finished with us.
Last thing, we're 9 minutes and 34 seconds left. Pittsburgh has cut into the lead even more. It's now 13-9. Baltimore did have a nice return by Justice Hill. It's going to come down to an end of game dramatics in this one for anyone not watching.
We're coming up on the 30-second mark. I just wanted to mention quickly, guys, thank you for all the support that we've been getting. Definitely excited about this first day of the new year, actually doing our first show of the new year. Thank you for being here, Idris. I'm glad you made it in late. Brett, Quinton, Zappy, thank you guys so much for everything you guys do for this show, and it's only going up from here. Until next time, I am Richie for Brett, Quinton, Zappy, and Idris. We are out, and we're going to keep talking.